Hola chicas y chicos, hoy estamos en un nuevo video. Yo soy Ulises o no, y tenemos un compañero aquí. Te presentamos a mi hermanito. Saluda, amigo. Hola. Mira, le vamos a la luz. No, no te escondas.
Hola.
Y vamos a reaccionar a Vita.
Bueno,
Y vamos con él. Y vamos con el video. Bueno, ya estamos acá. Resulta que hubo un problema con mi hermano. Estuvo aquí a un lado. Que vamos a cenar solos. Pito carnis. Bueno, ya. Supone que hay muchas cintas. Acá lo dice. Vamos con la primera cinta. Esta su. Vamos a ver. Sí. Esto no es para niños. Sí. Ah. Clasificar material. Yo no entiendo inglés. Más o menos.
On planet Earth, life has thrived for millions of years. Creatures big and small have found ways to adapt and evolve to flourish in all types of environments.
Bueno.
From barren wastes to lush forests, life can be found. Earth has homed these creatures since the dawn of life itself. Only until very recently, things have changed. New life forms have appeared all around the globe and completely changing the balance of nature and what we know about evolution itself. That is why we, at National Living Meat Research, have been studying these new species, trying to help educate everyone about these creatures and their wondrous ways of life.
¿Y a mí qué me importa?
First,
¿Y a mí
what are
qué
these new
me
life forms?
importa?
Since their explosive arrival across the globe in 1931, there has been much debate on what these newcomers are and where they came from. Are they extraterrestrials coming to invade Earth? Or are they demons who come from hell to purge humanity? From what our scientists have discovered, no. The origins of these creatures are solely to Earth, miraculously out of nowhere. We don't know why or how, but one thing is for certain, Earth is now their home. What these creatures are is mysterious and still not well known today. But here is what we do know. These creatures are comprised mainly of muscle tissue, organs, and bone.
Bueno, ya le puse los títulos, así que sigamos con él.
Or bought meat. Because of these characteristics,
Déjame leer. Carne comprada en la tienda de vivido. Esta carne. Y esta carne.
they've been named accordingly as Vita carnis.
Vita carnis.
The carnis species consume decaying, organic matter, but their main diet is composed of raw meat, not including their carnis relatives. The carnis only appear in places where there is an abundance of crawl, which leads to the first creature of the carnis species, the crawl. The crawl is a growth of meaty tendrils that closely resemble the small intestine, the only difference being the dark red coloration. These tendrils grow in a similar pattern as vines, mold, or fungi. A primary stem structure is the host to divisions of other, smaller branches, and each tendril contains a variety of veins, arteries, and other similar organs used to transport nutrients absorbed from its surroundings. The ends of these tendrils are equipped with organelles used to absorb water and organic matter necessary for growth. The source of these organic materials is mainly found in dirt and soil on surrounding surfaces. Using its root-like tendrils, it absorbs the material and processes it into usable energy. Although, the crawl also obtains energy through another means. Using a sophisticated form of photosynthesis, the dark pigmentation of the smaller branches is ideal for absorbing sunlight, and therefore allowing solar energy to fuel the crawl's growth. Because of its efficiency, it thrives in almost all types of environments, easily allowing it to spread across the world, and can be found pretty much anywhere. Its recent inclusion in the ecosystem has caused many major...
Suriente inclusión del costiano. Mira. Ahí. Y ahí. Ahí están las raíces, que mira vos. Bueno.
¿Y a mí qué me importa?
Las raíces, tío.
Changes in nature's balance. One may assume that the crawl's presence may outcompete any other competitors, but due to its unique life cycle, where old branches fall off and decay into nutrient-rich compost, all forms of life seemingly flourish instead. The crawl's abundance grants plenty of nourishment to all animals, from plants feeding on the decayed crawl, herbivores thriving on increased plant population, and carnivores feeding on both the abundant prey, and are able to eat the crawl as well. The presence of all these animals leave behind waste, which will be broken down and consumed by the crawl, and the cycle begins again. This form of symbiosis leads to an environment where all populations thrive. Humanity also uses the crawl to our advantage. Because of the supernatural rate of growth and its richness in nutrients,
una granja, debido a la tasa de crecimiento sobrenatural, su riqueza, sus nutrientes,
has been sustained.
Se ha
Sustainably
cultivado
cultivated into
maneras
domestic farms. The crawl is harvested and processed into fertilizer, which greatly increases crop yield and
en
quality.
gran medida el rendimiento
The
de
crawl may also be used as a food source
la rastreo también puede usarse como fuente
for humans,
de
and
alimento para
reliably
los
so.
humanos y
But due to its unkiindly appearance and taste, it has yet to reach cuisine standards.
la X y puedo leer bien.
The crawl also plays a very important role in the next creatures that
El rastreo también juega un papel muy importante en las próximas criaturas
we have been studying.
que hemos
Sometimes, in a crawl
a ver, a veces en un entorno
populated environment, a node of meat may develop on one of the branches. This node will fall off and grow into a functioning organism and go to live on as an independent animal.
no, amigo,
This leads us to the upcoming species that we will be discussing. The first of these creatures are the trimmings.
La cinta se terminó. Vamos con la segunda cinta. A ver, vamos con la segunda cinta. Ay, publicidad. Bueno, ya estamos con la segunda cinta. Sí, bla, bla, bla. Ahí está. Esta es la aplicación de
Trimmings are
primera
small animals that resemble skinned raccoons. They are commonly known to have a plump body, round head, small eyes, nose and ear holes, and an agape mouth.
Vamos a poner los subtítulos. Ahí. Subtítulos. No lo quiero en inglés. Subtítulos. Traducción automática español.
They are also equipped with a
Una
diversity of
boca
limbs.
abierta también están
All individual trimmings are unique, each with a different body shape, number of limbs, and other characteristics.
Mira, tiene evolución. Diferencia forma del cuerpo, número de extremidades, características. Va a haber nivel 1, nivel 2, nivel 3, está bien chequeado.
One thing they all share in common is that they are made mostly of meat tissue and are a maximum of 20 centimeters in length, no larger than a basketball.
Centímetros, igual que una pelota.
Its life starts with its separation from the crawl.
Grande es
It will wonder to find anything that is edible and able to consume. Although it is an omnivore, being able to hunt meat and forage for plant matter, trimmings are almost entirely scavengers. Their diet consists of rotting plants and meat, including, but not limited to, fruits, vegetables,
fruits. No incluye, entre otras frutas, verduras, raíces.
Fruits, seeds, insects, and deceased animals.
Semillas, insectos.
Although its appearance is unsightly, it is a cowardly creature, only fleeing, screeching, and hiding when threatened.
Bueno,
Because of its lack of defensive traits, it lies near the bottom of the food chain, making it easily overpowered and picked off very regularly by predators. Naturally, its population would eventually die out. This is not the case.
a ver, aquí de nuevo.
The crawl constantly produces a large quantity of trimming nodes, keeping up their numbers. Naturally, trimmings can be found wherever there is abundant crawl.
Se pueden encontrar
Trimmings grow at a decent pace, reaching maturity at around 7 months, having a maximum lifespan of 2 to 4 years. Although they are plentiful, humanity has no proper way to implement trimmings into society. Their overabundance has even considered them
El otro
pests,
no lo veo ahí.
due to them digging through trash bins and making excessive noise at night.
Debido a que escarban.
Besides all of this, some people
todo,
still keep
estas
trimmings as
algunas personas
pets and
todavía
relatively domesticate them.
domestican.
Nuisance or
Sí, lo
not,
usan como
trimmings
peces,
are a wondrous
pobrecito.
creature. From their plentiful numbers to their skittish nature, they are truly a thing to behold.
Bueno. Vamos a ver. Ahí ya terminé la cinta. Vamos con la segunda cinta. Mira como dice acá, vamos a ver la tercera cinta. Esta de acá. Esta. Sí, esa. Así que vamos con el video. Bueno, no. Eso está pendejo. Vamos a reproducir la cinta. Así lo ponemos. Wow, ya se me movió. Acá. Dura 4 minutos, chicos. 4 minutos. A ver, vamos a... Serviente de carne.
Ink is a worm-like creature
Serviente de carne es
made of
una
a
criatura
variety of types of
de
meat
algo
coated in a transparent, skin-like
que no
membrane.
importa que lo lean mis
Its size varies during its lifespan, depending on how much it
Mira que
consumes.
también tiene
When
evolución.
it first separates from the
Un
crawl, it is
momento. Esa parece de los terremotos gusanos gigantes. Así como se llamaba, pero tenía entregas.
only a few centimeters in length.
A ver,
Eventually, it will reach an average length of
alcanzará
5
una de
meters,
5
although,
metros.
under extreme
Aunque en
conditions, like
condiciones
natural
extremas
disasters, war,
naturales,
or
guerras
plague,
o
it can
plagas,
greatly surpass this
pueden
length.
crecer hasta
The
longitud.
meat snake's diet
La
consists
dieta de los
entirely of dead
serpientes de
animals or
carne se
parts.
comen
A meat
entre
snake is incapable of consuming a healthy,
componentes.
living
O sea, se comen los
organism.
animales muertos, no los vivos.
The meat snake allocates its food by
Wow,
using a tongue-like
diferente.
organ covered in
Uno lengua y otro
sensors to touch and feel its environment. The sensors catch
Mira ahí,
particles of
ahí se le ve
decaying
la
meat, notifying the meat snake that there is food nearby. This process shares many similarities to regular snakes, hence the meat
Similitudes
snake's name.
con serpientes normales.
Once it locates
Es
the
una serpiente
corpse,
normal.
the
¿Sí
meat
o
snake
sea?
will open its jaw and swallow the entire body whole.
Ay, ya
Once
me
the
trauma.
entire body is consumed, the meat
¿Cómo lo hace?
snake's
Está
stomach will
gigante.
release a variety of chemicals. Some will break down
Un
soft
químico
tissue
como la
like skin
serpiente. La
and the
serpiente tiene un
connection
químico
points
para
between
ellos.
muscles. Other
Ustedes se vieron la
chemicals will
película
then
de
ferment and preserve the
Anaconda.
tissue to keep it from breaking down for
Sí,
as long as
Anaconda
possible.
desde el año, no sé,
After
año
that,
ñaupa.
the remaining flesh and
Ñaupa
bones will
van a
move along the
saber
meat
que
snake's track
se
and
come la
slowly be
anaconda que
implemented
tiene
into its own structure, extending the meat snake.
un gigante.
Unsatisfactory parts
Las
like
carnes de las
skulls,
serpientes como
pelvises,
cráneos.
hair, and fingernails
Wow.
will be excreted.
Qué raro.
Speaking of skulls, the meat snake will take the skull from the consumed organism and use it as its own. Each meat snake has its own skull.
Mira. Serpientes de carne tienen su propio cráneo. Este es normal, este es así. Mira, ese es el más terrorífico, pero es una cara humana.
Corresponding to what that one has consumed. During its lifespan, it will swap or replace these skulls if needed. A meat snake's lifespan depends entirely on how much a meat snake consumes. The longest one has lived for was 28 years.
Yes. ¿Cuánto
The
consume?
meat snake has no predators and is immune to disease
28 años
due to
y
its
ya
preserving
sobrevivió.
chemicals. The only significant ways a meat snake can die is through
Realmente,
starvation, burning, or complete
hambre.
destruction of the meat snake's membrane coating.
No sé.
Interestingly, the meat
Bueno, acá dice que realmente de
when a meat snake reaches an excessive size and is in the conditions to do so, it will commence mitosis, splitting itself in two. Then the now two meat snakes will go on their separate ways and live on as two distinct organisms.
¿Hacer eso?
Meat snakes can only be found in moderate temperature climates, not too hot, not too cold. Their population depends entirely on the amount of corpses available. Where there is death, there are meat snakes. Humanity will use them to our advantage. Meat snakes are a very efficient and clean way of disposing of any meat products. The preserving fluid within the meat snake's body disinfects in parts, and within's used to dispose of deceased animals. They are extremely tame, not caring if any creature is around them, only acting defensively when it is within
Sí,
consuming
eso
a
parece
meal.
los gusanos ese de
This
los
means they are
terremotos.
very easy to tame. Overall, Meat snakes are a marvelous creature with a very interesting way of sustaining itself. It is an amazing experience to encounter one, as long as you don't mind the smell. Our next creature is the mimic.
El imitador. Bueno, vamos por la siguiente. A ver, este es la última cinta que vamos a ver el día de hoy. A ver, sí.
The mimic.
The Mimic. Ese es muy famoso. Lo que he hecho. Subtítulos. No quiero subtítulos en inglés. ¿Cómo me la mando? Dramática español. Ahí está.
The mimic is a bipedal creature with uncanny similarities to humanoid anatomy. They greatly resemble humans without skin, with added exaggerated features. These features include extended finger length, longer limbs, bulging, empty eyes, and their most prominent feature, a wide, teeth-filled smile. Although it
Mira su boca, cola. Sonrisa llena de dientes aún.
resembles a happy face, this is due to coincidence, and is only how their facial structure is shaped. The mole of the mimic
Mira, tienen diferentes dientes.
contains much more teeth than humans, and their teeth is comprised almost entirely of incisors, with some canine and premolars in the back.
No se le...
This tooth composition is ideal for biting down onto meat and swallowing chunks whole. A mature mimic's diet is comprised entirely of human flesh.
Carne humana. Ya se callaron entonces.
Because of this, they are found solely around human
Debido a esto se
populated
encuentra
areas.
únicamente
The mimic's life cycle is made of 3 stages.
el ciclo de la vida del
In the
imitador.
first stage, a young mimic separates from the
En la primera etapa, un imitador joven se separará de
crawl. They closely resemble their trimming relatives,
será
but are
casi
thin,
igual, aunque así
sleek,
será.
and only
Mira,
have 4
qué
appendages.
asqueroso.
In this stage, the young mimic will hunt small animals, moving on to larger and larger as they grow. Once large enough, it will begin metamorphosis into the next stage of life.
Etapa
Once
de
fully
la
transformed, it will resemble the description mentioned in the beginning. Its hunting style changes and becomes much more complicated. It now stalks and
complicado
feeds
y
only
ahora
on
comerá
humans.
humanos.
It will locate human-populated area
se
and
esconderá.
begin its search for an easy target.
Si vos haces vos te
To
dormís, te
blend
van a
in,
comer.
it may use objects to conceal itself. These include clothing, mannequins, and furniture.
¿Cómo? Estos incluyen maniquíes, ropa y muebles.
Once a target has been found, the mimic will observe its prey and learn its routine and when it is most vulnerable. This is typically when the human is asleep at night.
Sí, tenía razón por la
Once
noche.
the prey is within position, the mimic will advance silently until it is close enough.
El diablo.
The mimic will then execute it immediately begin consumption. Once the mimic has had its fill, it will leave the scene, a fair distance away from the human population, and begin to digest its meal.
Mira, hay un mimic.
Although, in the case that a human is awake, a mimic will use a variety of sounds to either lure or startle prey into cornering themselves. Once a human is in place, it will swiftly attack and kill the helpless target.
Sí, mira. Transmisión. ¿Es un mimic? Sí, un imitador. Música. Quiere entrar. Se esconde en todos lados el mimic ya. No, yo me callo. No, el internet, la puta, me olvidé de apagar el internet. Ya me ando mal. Vamos a hacer un corte, vamos al internet. Se manda el internet. Música.
¡Órale, Juan! Le dije a unas feministas que tenían más piercing que derecho.
Importa.
Sí. Escuchen. siente. ¿Qué sonido no? Les quiero decir que me anda mal, interno, carajo. Me parezco el diablo. No, mira. Pero si me anda bien, ¿entendés? Ay, tucu, tacaña. Voy a tener que buscarme con el popi. ¿Sí? Sí, el popi ya me canso. Resulta que vamos a un corte de ese internet. Bueno, hasta acá termina el video. Nos vemos. Chao.
¡Órale, Juan! Le dije a unas feministas que tenían más piercing.